Season of ease is about comfort and nurturing yourself. Now, radical self care can look a million different ways to everyone. And so, when I say this, I want you to think about the ways that make you feel safe, the things that you can do for yourself that make you feel loved, the actions that you can take that make you feel nurtured.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Spiritually Fly. I'm your host and your guide, Faith Hunter. By listening or watching this podcast, you are taking steps to rebuild your life, learn ways to courageously live out your dreams, or maybe you're here to unlock your potential. So let's drop into the power of self-healing and step into a place of self-care. Along the way, I'll provide you with science-based yet spiritually grounded practices that will enhance your life and elevate your soul.
Hello, beautiful one, and welcome to Spiritually Fly. This is episode number 11, and today's episode is about ease, your season of ease. Now, we see that kind of catchphrase, the season of ease, I'm in my season of ease, all over social media. And I think it is really, really important. But I also, before I jump into sharing a couple of, my top 5 reasons or top 5 ways to be in a season of ease, I want to acknowledge that practicing being in a season of ease is a privilege. Yeah, I want to say that. I want to acknowledge that stepping into what you may consider a season of ease is a privilege. And I say that because when I think back to, oh wow, my body right now is truly pulling up energy from my ancestors right now. That very rarely ever happens when I'm on a podcast. It usually only happens when I'm teaching. I think back to my ancestors, and I think back to my grandmother stepping into a place of ease was a privilege for her, my maternal grandmother. And I would probably say my paternal grandmother had more privilege to be in places of ease and be in a season of ease, but my maternal grandmother had to work a little bit harder. And when she experienced her moments of ease, those were in those moments where she was surrounded by her grandchildren, when she was gardening, when she was in church. But the remaining time, it was working diligently, right, working alongside my grandfather. But that is not how I was going to start off this episode today. I was definitely going to start out in a different way. So let me reverse and go back, because obviously my ancestors decided to come forward before I started to speak what was on my mind. And I just want to say that when you think about a season of ease, and when we say those words, we are really talking about being in this place of comfort, freedom to relax and be. And that is not always an option for everyone. And so what I want to paint and what I want to share with this episode is that your season of ease can possibly be, actually, that's probably why my grandparents and my ancestors came forward, is because your season of ease can be moments of ease, right? I like to think of my whole life, right? Again, sitting in this place of definitely privilege and having the ability. I don't have kids, so I have a little more time on my hands. I can wake up in the morning and make my morning my time. I can choose to step out and go get a chai anytime I desire. Or, I don't have to think about having to go and pick up my kids from school, I can just simply step out at 3:12 p.m. and go have a chai. As we look at the season of ease, I want you to think about what ease looks like for you. Just give that a thought. Pause for a moment and take a couple of deep breaths and go, what does ease look like for me? So ease, at one point in my life, when I was working a 9 to 5, ease looked like being able to go and do my yoga practice after work, being able to have time to spend with my brother. My brother and I, we lived together. We had a townhouse in Virginia at one point in time, and we would take bike rides on Saturdays. And that was just like freedom, because ease is freedom, having the ability to step out and do what feels most comfortable and joyful for you. Ease is also this place of not feeling overwhelmed and trapped. And so what you have to do is craft your own season of ease and make the season of ease look like yours. So let me go down a quick list of just 5 simple ways that you can incorporate a season of ease in your chaotic life. Let's do that. Number 1, even if you have a crazy, chaotic life, if you have lots of responsibilities, or, I want to be realistic as well. If financially you don't have the capacity to do all these things to create this fabulous season of ease because you're working every day, you're working 2 or 3 jobs every day. My first recommendation is to minimize the chaos, declutter, detox from the crazy. And the way that you can do that is by starting with simple things. If you are working 9 to 5, create a little more structure in your life, making time for you to pause when you're in the shower in the morning and take a couple of deep breaths. Minimize the clutter on your desk. I do that a lot. Like, that creates a sense of freedom and ease in my work life. Also, right, this is what I always suggest to my mother: minimize the clutter and the chaos in your car. So if you're driving to work, clean out the car, create this sense of breathing and freedom and openness and less chaos in the vehicle that you drive. Another way to minimize and declutter is the things that you are consuming, because being in a state of ease is also calming and soothing. It is also extremely nurturing. And so you want to make sure that you are only inviting thoughts, messages, music that elevates your spirit, soothes your soul, brings you joy, and creates happiness. So tip number 1 is to minimize, declutter, and create more space in your life. Number 2, mindfulness and meditation. So, of course, that's going to be on the list, right? Mindfulness and meditation are so important. So, the mindfulness kind of flows and connects to the minimizing, but mindfulness in the way that you eat your food. You guys didn't know these things were going to be on my season of ease list. The way that you eat your food, the way that you communicate with people, being mindful of the words that you say to yourself, and then merging that mindfulness, of course, with meditation, making time to pause and breathe. And you may not get in a 20-minute meditation. Sometimes I don't get one in. I'm like, geez, it can be really challenging. So my meditation practice for the day may be 3 minutes. It may be 3 minutes of stillness on a plane and just centering. It may be 3 minutes in the middle of meetings, and I just give myself time to breathe and be present. So, tip number 2, mindfulness and meditation. Number 3 of creating your own season of ease, is gratitude. Giving thanks for all that you are. Allowing yourself an opportunity, opening up space for yourself to express what's right in front of you. And so my moments of gratitude happen every single morning before I even get out of bed. So it's like my alarm will go off. I press snooze because I like pressing snooze. And then I know that I have 9 minutes. And in those 9 minutes, I'm still in bed. I place one hand over my belly, one hand over my heart. Sometimes I just leave my arms open with the palms facing up. I relax my shoulders. I close my eyes. You may want to do this with me right now. And I just give thanks. And I'm going to tell you guys the first thing I give thanks for. I'm like, I give thanks and I go through and name the people in my life. This is something I've been doing for, oh my God, I can't even count the number of years. I mean, I've kind of lost count, but I go through, I'm giving thanks to my mom and my dad and my brothers and my cousin Keisha, who's like my sister. I give thanks for my beautiful, beautiful nephews. I give thanks for my sister-in-law, right? That she has blessed our family to be with her presence in my brother's life. So I give thanks for all of my immediate family. And then I give thanks for me, for my breath, for being present. And then I go through another laundry list, and then I allow my mind to drift into a state of intention. And then I get out of bed. By that, 9 minutes is over. And so that's how I start my day. Again, if your life is crazy, you have at least 1 full minute when you wake up in the morning. Maybe you have 5 minutes when you wake up in the morning. Even if you're in a situation that is challenging, right? When you wake up, give thanks for the small things. Gratitude. Let's do number 4. Number 4 is radical self-care. A season of ease is about comfort and nurturing yourself. Now, radical self-care can look a million different ways to everyone. And so when I say this, I want you to think about the ways that make you feel safe, the things that you can do for yourself that make you feel loved, the actions that you can take that make you feel nurtured, that you can hold your 5-year-old self with love. Do those things. So thinking about one of my grandparents, actually, I'm going to go back. They're present today. They're just like swimming around me right now. My ancestors are everywhere in this space right now. So I'm going to talk about my paternal grandmother right now. And the self-care thing that I think is the most beautiful. She loved her baths and all of her oils, and she would make them, right? And she would always have like these amazing scents and perfumes and herbs and like in the bathroom. And I would go in there, she had these powders, like she just like put the powder all over her. And that's the way that she felt nurtured. She was practicing radical self-care. But it wasn't like a rush and do thing, right? So anytime she would step foot in the bathroom, I swear she would be in there forever, right? Because there was a period of time that I lived with her and my grandfather for probably about 6 months because my mom was ill. That's a whole nother story. But I lived with them, and my grandmother would go in the bathroom, and you hear the water running, and then she'd be in there doing the bath. And like you could just smell all those beautiful scents just permeating the hallway right to the bathroom. And here's the interesting part is I think back, oh my God, guys, I'm like crying right now. I'm telling you, my ancestors are straight up in here. So I remember when I did live with them, and maybe this is where I get it from, that act of radical self-care. I remember when I lived with her and my grandfather, and I just realized in this moment that that's exactly how she would prepare my bath for me. Yeah. She would actually run the water and have all those things ready for me. And so she was my teacher in that moment. I don't even think she knew, I realized that that's what she was doing. But I just, I want to acknowledge, express a little gratitude right now of thank you. Thank you, Grandma Jalevia, for teaching me radical self-care by your actions. Yeah, sweet. Okay. Let's do one more. And the last and final one that I want to share of creating a season of ease is to make time for yourself to step out in nature, get into the earth, hug a tree, lounge, take a walk, feel the sun against your skin, absorb some of that vitamin D. I mean, really allow yourself to be in nature. I'm going to tell another story right now. And, I'm thinking, and I'm going to go back to this thought, but at this moment, I'm actually thinking about my mom. Yeah, my mother. And as a young child, she loved taking us for our bike rides. And so she would take us for bike rides. And then sometimes we would ride around the neighborhood on our bikes and whatnot. And then the other thing that's coming to mind is that we would go out into the front yard and sit right in front of the driveway. And our driveway had like this tiny little slope. So she would lean back and just soak up the sun. And so we would do it too. We just kind of lean back. We lived nowhere near a beach, by the way. There was no beach, but it was just like, it was beach life on our driveway. And so we just kind of lean back and legs out. And she would have her pants rolled up or her shorts. She would like roll them up and legs, little red bone. And my mom was a red bone. And so she would like roll her little shorts up and then she leaned back and says, yep, getting my suntan. So, and here we are, kids. We'd be like, yep, getting her suntan in. But really, that was this moment of enjoying nature because not only were we absorbing the sun, right? We're right there in the middle of the country, like there's trees everywhere surrounding us, and we're just soaking up nature. And it was just a really healing moment. Now, as you think about those different ways that I shared, is that it doesn't require you to do a lot. Actually, none of those things, not a single one, even requires money. It requires you to make a choice. And that's really, at the end of the day, what a season of ease is about. Making a personal choice to create a sense of comfort, care, nurturing, love, and ultimate freedom in your own life. So I encourage you to commit to creating your own season of ease. Commit to finding space and time in your life to practice radical self-care, to absorb nature, to minimize the chaos, to express a sense of gratitude in your life, and make time for stillness and mindfulness. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for another episode. Again, my name is Faith Hunter. This is Spiritually Fly, and I will see you next time. Ciao, everybody.